Good evening. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for coming in. We're going to do some listing tonight from an a magazine from October of 1945. So just a month or two post-war, but still lots of juicy World War II kind of stuff in there. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a Friday evening. Cheers. Let's enjoy some water and some food, whatever you guys would like to do. It's great to see you. What's up, CJ? How you doing? Thanks for coming in as always. Great to see you. Hi, Steven. How you doing? Welcome aboard, man. Yeah, we'll get right into it. I think I got like 30 ads so far from this magazine. There's actually more meat on the bone, but I scanned 30 of them for this evening. So hope you guys are in the mood to chat and talk listing on eBay. Hi, Diane. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, we will get right to the shenanigans virtually immediately. My phone has been beeping like crazy. I got to put it on mute. It's very rude to be conducting a live show and have somebody's phone going off. So anyway, let's mute that. But it's just been a hotbed of activity, eBay and otherwise. So great to see you, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Queen Victoria is here. How you doing? Great to see you. Happy Friday, Victoria. Hi, Hydron. Welcome to you as well. Thanks for coming in. And thanks to anyone who caught the quick hour-long, 55-minute long live show yesterday. I didn't really do a show. It was mid-afternoon. It was like 1 o'clock. I was listing a bunch of print ads all morning, and I just decided to kind of go live on YouTube. I didn't even have my face on there. I was just kind of doing an impromptu live show. But thanks for those of you who checked that out. But tonight's a bona fide official live show, live listing show. So it's great to see everybody. Hi, Diane. You sold your first print ad. Congratulations. What was it? Tell us all about it. What was the product? What magazine was it from? What year? It's great stuff. How's my dad doing? He's doing good. Thank you very much for asking. I took him. We had a visit with neurology today, and everything went fine. It's just kind of a matter of tweaking some medication that he's on. He's got early, like, kind of onset of Parkinson's. He's had that for a couple of years, but it's just kind of presenting itself a little more recently. So the good news is there's some medicine to kind of counteract some of those, things that are happening, which is great. And to get it at this point, over 80 years old, if you have to have it, it's not a bad time to get it, because for those of you who are familiar with Parkinson's, it's kind of a very long-term debilitating thing. If you get it at an advanced age, odds are by the time it really manifests to a debilitating degree, he'd probably be 120. So not the worst thing in the world. And again, there are medicines to control it. But thanks for asking. He'll be fine. We just got to keep our eyes even more on him. Yeah, we want to know all the details. Quaker Oats, beautiful, 45. One of my wheelhouse years. Great to hear. Did you sell it for decent money? I want all the details, Diane. How much did you pay for that magazine? Do you remember? How many ads did you get out of that magazine? Then you can figure out your cost for that ad, and then figure out what kind of profit you made when you sold it. But that's great news. Congratulations. I'm thrilled to hear it. Love to see when people are doing well with the print ads. My print ads have been selling really well last couple of weeks. Hopefully that trend continues. I keep listing. It's funny, as someone said, you list, you sell. It is true. Like I got 40 up yesterday or so. I think 39 or 40 yesterday. We have 30 in the queue tonight to get listed. I'm going to do them whether it's live or not. I'm going to get the 30 up for sure. And then on the weekend, I'll probably up it a little bit more. I was doing 100 a day for a good clip there a couple of months back before all kinds of stuff started happening here. But like in the late fall, early winter, I was doing that, like 100 a day. And boy, do you see the difference when you're listing volume like that every day, no matter what it is, print ads, postcards, any ephemera, shoes, clothing. You list, you sell. It's definitely a fact. Blue Feather Ephemera, how you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for coming in tonight. Another huge fan of the print ad stuff, and check out Blue Feather Ephemera on YouTube. He does cool videos, what sold videos. So we're going to dig into it. Probably just give it like a couple more minutes, see if anybody else trickles in. I'm going to make sure I say hi to everybody, and then we'll get going with a live listing show. I think 30 scans is a good number for a couple hours on YouTube. Hopefully you guys agree. I think that is, it's exactly 30 ads. October of 45, Life magazine. So these are going to be 11 by 10 and a half, 14 long by 10 and a half to 11 wide. Sometimes I tweak that dimension. I think we've discussed this on previous shows, but for the benefit of those who might be new, every once in a while I'll trim a little bit of excess off the sides of physically, not just on the computer, but actually physically trim if the edge is a little frayed or something on a couple of papers, which happens once in a while. I'll trim like an eighth of an inch off or something, just something to make it look as neat as possible. So that does have an effect on the width theoretically. So I'll put like between 10 and 10 and a half inches on the width. I think that's fair. I've never been called out, somebody measuring it and say it's only, it's 9.75 inches, but I just want to be fair. And, I kind of think I have in there approximately. If I don't, I should probably add that. Add measures approximately 14 by 10, something like that. I think that might be a good idea to cover myself, but it's never been a problem before. I don't anticipate it being one. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Karen was amongst the few that watched the afternoon listing yesterday. Thanks for coming in, Karen. Happy Friday. You don't remember the cost? It was in a lot. Okay, $12.99. Beautiful. Great price. Right, kind of in my sort of right in the middle of kind of my pricing scheme. So that's great news, Diane. Congratulations. Hopefully you catch the bug and you keep listing them. The more of them you list, and you'll get some action. In fact, I had I sent out an offer on 2 ads that I listed yesterday, and that 1 to 2 hour extravaganza we did yesterday with listing. I had 2 offers sent out on those 2 ads. So we'll see if they come through and wind up being sales, but it's always a good thing. I'm not one to, with print ads specifically, let's just qualify this. I'm not one to say, oh, I need to wait 3 weeks before I send out offers. I don't care. The profit margin is so extremely high with this stuff that, $11.99, $9.99. I don't care about that $2 that I listed it yesterday. And maybe I could hold out 6 months and get $2 more. Quick buck, turn it around, list some more. That's my philosophy. So somebody is a watcher, minutes after I just listed an ad, unless it's a really highly priced ad, but like, my run of the mill $10 to $15 range, something like that is probably the majority of my stuff, single page ads. If I see somebody as a watcher, I'll send out an offer for $10 or $11, something like that. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to hold out and wait for $2, wait a year for $2. I'm excited that they even took the time to find my ad and took the time to watch it. Likewise, if I get an offer for something that I just listed 10 minutes ago, again, I'm talking about print ads. I'm not talking about some valuable piece of art or something else, but with the print ad stuff where my margins are thousands of % profit, I'll gladly accept an offer that's reasonable, 10 minutes after I listed it. I really don't care. It's all about turning around, making some money. What size protective bag? Oh, really? I've had, mine fit in the, I'm going to, again, excuse me, I have to look over at the other computer sometimes because I'm watching the live show on my left side so I can see the chat when I start doing screen sharing. I have, I believe, Victoria, a link to the ones I use. I think I should. Yeah, clear bags. If you go to clearbags.com, I highly recommend them. Again, it's not really a plug. I don't get a penny for it, but they're really, really nice people. I've had the opportunity to speak to some people over there. It's a family-run business. They sell the bags that I purchase. I could get you the exact dimensions. You would think I would know that. I don't know why. I just realized I'm looking at if you look below this video, you'll see a series of product recommendations, stuff that I use. The first of which is that clear bags, and I have a code FLIP10 if you want to get 10% off your order. But I just realized I don't have a link directly to the actual, the bags that I use. So I'm going to rectify that shortly. But if you go to Clear Bags and just search, I'm going to say it's probably 18 by 13. They fit all of I know exactly what you're talking about. Those really large, they're like 16, 17 inches long. They fit in the ones that I use. In fact, before the show ends, please remind me again, Victoria, I'll go measure one of the ones I have. I have one behind my green screen. I could grab it for you. But it'll just take a minute. But I think it's about 18 inches tall, something like that. And they do fit those larger latest home journals from the early 1900s, which are great magazines, by the way. Phenomenal magazines. I'm glad you found some of those. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Finally catching a live. Greetings from Mallorca, Spain. Wow, congratulations, and thanks for coming in. I know it's after midnight out there, right? Thanks for spending some time with us. I appreciate it. So happy Saturday morning to you, my friend. Great to see you. Thanks, Mark, for coming in. Howdy, Jim. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Somebody in my time zone here, Florida man Jim. Be heading down to Florida in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, Jim. Looking forward to it. When you stop on eBay, you always watch first. Most sellers will pitch offers to sellers. Yeah, that's true. It's a good way to try to get, I know what you're saying. Yeah, if you watch an item, it's a good way to kind of lure somebody into sending you an offer and maybe getting some money off. You know, I'm not a fool. I do the same thing with the stuff that I like to buy, which, surprise, surprise, is not print ads. You know, I sell print ads. I don't buy them. But yeah, I'm a big music guy, so like records and stuff like that. I'll throw a watch on something and then I'll get, 10% off, 15% off, whatever the case may be. I touched on this yesterday, but there was only a handful of people that showed up yesterday, which I don't fault anyone for. It was 1:00 in the afternoon. I announced it at like 5 to 1 that I was just going to do some listing, but I did talk about the marketing stuff. I just want to throw that out there for anybody who either, I'm sure you're all aware of it, but there's a lot of marketing tools within eBay. If you have a store, I'm sure most of you guys have stores, sending the coupons, doing markdown sales. You could send out newsletters. You can create buyer groups. You can create, tailor it to things that you sell. In my case, print ads and postcards are the largest genres, of stuff that I sell on this store anyway. So like I'll create buyer groups and I could send out, I did it 2 days ago. I think I sent a newsletter out because I have a promotion with my print ads where if you buy 3, you get a 4th free. So I sent a newsletter out to that effect, and I, created a buyer group. It was basically folks who have bought print ads from me. I think it was 90 days or older. So somebody who has bought a print ad from me 3 months ago or prior. And, it was a decent population of folks. And I created a newsletter, sent it out to those specific people. And instantly yesterday, I got an order for that. The buy 3, get 1 free kind of thing. It's a great deal. It really is. It's a great deal for the collector that enjoys that stuff. And if you're like me and you have, a penny or 10 cents or even $1 into these ads, it's no skin off my nose to give one away, for free, quote unquote. And of course, I always do the combined shipping as well. But, I get 3 sales. I get 3 full price sales. I'm still making a ton of money, ton of margin on those ads. It's just good. It's good all around. It's good business. It creates multiple orders for you as the seller, and it adds value to the buyer. From a buying perspective, they see it as, wow, I'm saving. I have shipping $4.50 per ad. $4.50, like just what's the word? Not calculated. Or it's just steady shipping. I can't think of the word. I'm sorry. $4.50 is my shipping price for print ads, but again, I offer combined shipping. So if somebody buys 5 or 6 ads, I'm not going to charge them $4.50 times 5 or 6. If they're not able to put them all in a cart and I invoice them the difference, then I'll just refund that difference. I'll say, okay, thanks so much for your multiple ad purchase. I'm going to refund you back X amount of dollars. I keep the one lot of $4.50, and 9 times out of 10, that $4.50 covers the shipping anyway, even if they bought 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 ads. It doesn't add a lot of weight to it. So good business, but I just want to kind of remind everybody, because we did touch on it yesterday, use those marketing tools that eBay provides us. It's every once in a while, it really does help. You'd be surprised. Human 80, Jim. Yeah, it's just, I'm not going to talk. I was complaining about it yesterday. It's miserable here. Today was a little bit, it was like almost 70. But again, we're in the middle of May. It should be 75, 80 degrees every day. And we haven't come close to that in weeks. With few exceptions. We had a couple of ridiculous days that were like 86 degrees in April. But, May has been, I don't think we've seen the sun more than twice this month. And it's probably not got out of the 50s or 60s more than once. So it's been miserable spring for us weather-wise. An Air Force buddy of yours cycles. He pedaled a race at Mallorca last week. Oh, very cool. He would have been one of my many. It's called Mallorca 312 around the island. I'm just going to speculate here. Are you a transplanted Spaniard with the name McGlynn? It doesn't sound like you were born there, but I could be wrong. But I'd be interested to hear what brought you over to Spain. My daughters, 3 of my daughters, just went to Spain a couple of weeks ago. They went to Paris and they spent some time in Spain, and they really enjoyed it. You won about 20 ladies' home journals and estate sale in Alexandria. Awesome. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have a ball, Victoria. You're in the Victorian age, ironically. That's great. At least the pre-1901 is Victoria, right? She died in 1901. Yeah, I agree. Amazing, amazing. They're large, they're beautiful, good condition. I hope those 20 magazines. I hope they're in good condition. Absolutely gorgeous ads. I love those things. I have a quite a few of them up. Congratulations. That's wonderful to hear that you won them. Oh, cool. Yeah, Blue Feather does have great stuff. Definitely subscribe to him if you haven't. There he is. Blue Feather Ephemera is the channel. If our illustrious Queen of Canada comes in, she's one of my moderators, then she will put in a link for you, Blue Feather. If you'd like, I could do it too. But definitely go check him out. Greg at Blue Feather Ephemera loves the print ads. One Woman in Song. Oh, that's what brought you? Gotcha. Where you from, though, originally? Maria was born in Spain. Now she's in Pennsylvania. That's funny. Hey, what's up, Outlaw Films? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. I'm not gonna wait on the Queen of Canada. She might be doing something else. So let me check out. I'll put a link in for you, Greg. Blue Feather. Just bear with me as I find that. Here we go. Yeah, help him out. He's just kind of starting out. What do you have? About 20 videos now? 18 videos, it looks like. So definitely check him out. There's a link. Oh, CJ did it for me. Thank you, CJ. That's right. CJ's here. The king of all moderators here on the Germany Flip It. One of the original viewers, too, which I'm extremely appreciative of. Just got a message on eBay. Let's see. In fact, it's somebody that bought that bought 5 ads. Thanks so much. Really like your selection of vintage ads. The older ones are so interesting, especially comparing them with the modern advertisements. Since your sale is ongoing until June, there's a very good possibility I will find more and add to my collection. I favor the Snyder food product ads, but they are difficult to find. So there's a little hint I gave everybody. If you guys have any Snyder food, get them up. We have somebody interested in it. That's always a nice thing. I love seeing pleasant messages. I don't know if you guys are like me, but sometimes when I see a message pop up on eBay, I always cringe a little bit. You're almost expecting something negative, but again, knock on wood, great experiences with the ephemera. You almost never get a return, almost never. And as long as you're, correctly describing your items and pricing them fairly and delivering them on time, I mean, why are they going to return them? There's very low likelihood that will be an issue. Yep, check out Blue Feather for sure. Hundreds of ads. Yep. Quack Medicine. Absolutely. Yeah, I know you know this, Victoria, but the large full page ones are little mini pieces of art. They're like little posters is how I describe them. But you're right. If you go to the back 20 pages or so of those really old turn of the century ads, magazines, you'll find tons of those little classified ads, as I like to call them. Yep. A lot of Quack Medicine. Not just Quack Medicine, but Quack Medicine's cool. But there's tons of really juicy, good ads in the back. So I would take a look at every single page literally on those magazines. They're gold. You're going to do really well with those. Yeah, of course, man. Not a problem. Thanks for checking it out. What's up, Maria? How you doing? That's okay. You're only a couple of minutes late. Nobody's keeping time. Don't worry about it. We're just chatting right now. Oh, County Clare and Ireland. Sure. Lived in Spain 15 years. Retail, sports, memorabilia. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you've checked out the channel. I appreciate it. For postcards, I'm sure you know. If you don't know, you got to check out Popeye's postcards. He's kind of the guru of postcards stateside. And Mark at SM Postcards. Those are 2 great channels. I highly recommend you check out. Excuse me. I just ate shortly before we came on the show. I have to wash some of it down. Look at Mark flashing the Spanish. I'm sure everything's very good. I'm in Pennsylvania. If I remember well, Maria, you're up near the Allentown area. Is that right? It's about like an hour and change north of me. Yeah, Greg does a nice job. Yeah, he kind of makes commentary on the ads that have sold. He tells you where they were, not every time, but he tells you where the buyer was located. He does like a little analysis at the end of most videos, right, Greg, where he'll say like, 3 ads went to the town or something like that where the ad was from. It's really cool. It's original idea, original spin on the, the kind of tried and true what's sold video format. So that's always a good thing to bring some originality to the table. Southeastern Ohio, middle of nowhere, beautiful. Yep, up next to Allentown. Yep, I remember. Daniel at Mailseum. Ooh, there you go. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. It's a postcard guy? I'm actually not familiar with him. But I love the postcards. They're right up there with my print ad stuff. I just made a kind of, I think I talked about this on one of my shows a couple of months ago, but I made a proclamation to myself that, I was talking about for quite a while, the fact that I have hundreds of magazines and yada, yada, yada. And I still do, but I'm trying to whittle that number down. I don't want to just have a stack of magazines that are untouched. So, I mean, I've listed thousands of them at this point, but I have tens of thousands, very literally, left to list. So I am trying to, make efforts to get as many of those up as possible. So that's why I've been listing lots of ads recently. I go back and forth on this store, the Germany Flip It store on eBay. I go back and forth really a lot between, I get on a postcard run, I'll list hundreds of postcards, and I get on a print ad run. Right now I'm heavily into the print ad thing because I really would like to see some of those, the packs of magazines that I've been sitting there for a couple of years at this point. I'd like to see that, like I said, whittled down and get them listed, especially while the iron is hot, as they say. They've been selling pretty well. And I see other people like Greg, like other, print ad aficionados, people selling them. I love to hear the stories of maybe people that never knew about this niche and they're getting into it and they're amazed by the novelty of it and the fact that people actually collect these things. I know it was an eye opener for a lot of people, and I'm glad for that. I'm glad that I maybe brought that to people's attention that might not have previously been aware. So good stuff. Plenty of them out there. Share the wealth. Postcard guy too. Oh, absolutely. Kevin, postcard guy. He's down in Florida, correct? Sarasota area. Good friend of the channel. He writes me a lot. Offline too. Good guy. Yes, he has amazing postcards. He almost exclusively deals with real photo postcards, and he finds some amazing stuff. I agree wholeheartedly. Definitely check out Kevin, postcard guy, on YouTube as well. He does videos and shows off these amazing collections that he's able to somehow mine from the everyday postcards. So it's good stuff. Definitely, I agree with you. Kevin is good. Great guy. Yeah, so we go by middle name. Yeah, very, very common name. That's for sure. All right, you guys want to start listing or what? Well, we could just keep chatting. I don't mind. I'm easy that way. I have plenty to list. I was listing this morning. Took a little bit of a break today. I had to take my dad to this neurologist, like I told you, in Philadelphia, which is only like half an hour north of me. But it's just it's a hassle to go. It's not no offense to anybody who's from Philadelphia. I am not from Philadelphia at all, but I find myself in this place far too often, unfortunately, with medical stuff. Not the greatest city in the world. I got to be honest with you. Nothing against anybody who likes it. I'm just saying it's a pain in the neck. Always eternally under construction, lousy roads, just a hassle getting to these hospital areas I need to go to all the time. Can't stand when I have to drive in there. All right, folks, let's rock and roll. I'm gonna get into some listing now. And let me just get out of a couple of screens so it's nice and neat when we do a share screen, which we'll be doing any second now. And we will begin. I have probably covered this before, but what would be your favorite decade from Life magazine? Oh my God, yeah, I've covered it probably on a daily basis, Mark. Huge fan of the World War II era ads, which would be basically, 41 because that's Pearl Harbor. So really 42 to 45. That's my favorite by far. It's nothing to do with being a fan of war or a fan of the time necessarily. I just think that the ads themselves are incredibly unique. You'll see some of that tonight because we're doing 1945. But the ads themselves, it's such a unique period in advertising history, world history, obviously, but advertising history, because of this parallel between, like, you'll see like Pontiac, known for building cars, obviously, would suddenly build engines for warplanes, and they'll have advertising to that effect. And you're only going to see that for those few years in the early 40s. You're not going to see that. It never happened again. It never happened prior. For that reason alone, I love those ads. They're just so unique. These cross sections of businesses merging for the war effort and all that stuff. the whole buy war bonds thing, which you'll see all the time. I like to indicate that there's people that just collect stuff that says buy war bonds. It's an incredibly interesting and more importantly, unique period of advertising. So that is, long and, without question, my favorite period. I do love the really early turn of the century stuff too. Those latest home journals are great. They're really large. They're 16 inch. They're a couple inches taller than the Life magazines, which is 14. I think they're 16 inches usually. And they just have some amazing, amazing artwork, 1904 magazines and stuff. And I have I don't think I have any left, sadly, but I listed probably like 50 magazines worth or something over these few years that I've been doing this. And boy, they are special. It's just such unique artwork. Such care was taken during that period. It's literally Victorian or Edwardian area. Like, I'm sorry, who just said that they had was it Maria? Who got the 20 magazines? I think it was Maria. I apologize if it wasn't you, but she said she got 20 free magazines from that period. I think I got like 50. They weren't free, but they were cheap. I bought them cheaply at an estate sale, actually, sitting on the floor. My wife stood on them. So what the heck is these? Incredible stuff. And the oldest one I had from that pile was 1896. So I've sold a couple of ads from 1896. It's funny, 1896, which is the first year of the modern Olympics, by the way. I also have some sheet music dating from that same year, 1896, which was, for some reason, very, very expensive sheet music that I've sold, old sheet music from. So 1896 is a lucky year for me for whatever reason. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unique. Yeah, definitely look out for those. Outlaw Films was listing late night, taking it back to like a couple years ago. 2 track phone ads sold almost immediately. Everything sells, man. People collect everything, and it doesn't have to be old stuff. It could be very, very recent stuff too. People collect stuff, and as each year goes by, what most of us consider to be very recent stuff. If you're a 20-year-old kid, you think the 90s is like ancient times. You know what I mean? So for them, they find some sort of nostalgia in that, or I guess like 30-year-olds that were kids in the 90s now, whatever the age is. I'm losing track now, but you get what I'm saying. Everybody is nostalgic about their childhood, and as years go on, that keeps moving forward and forward and forward. So you have a handful of people that'll collect stuff that they're nostalgic about from their childhood. Then you'll have, there's certain periods that, to me, like the World War II stuff was 60, 70 years on from that now, and people still are into that stuff. World War I stuff, even I've sold, that's 100 years ago at this point, and that still sells. So there's certain things I think that are just going to be kind of universal. And there's other things that are kind of fatty and of a time. And, again, generationally, kids that were born in the 40s, 30s, and 40s are going to be nostalgic about that period. Kids that were born in the 50s are going to be nostalgic about that period, and so on and so on. For me, like 60s and 70s would be my childhood. So like, if I yearned to collect something from that, that's what I would kind of go to. And so it goes as years goes on. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. It's fascinating to me. That's why I love postcards. To me, has a parallel to that whole thing, the nostalgia, the historical aspect of postcards. I love, and most of the value for postcards, which again is shifting as years go on, it's getting newer and newer. But most of the really highly sought after, if you will, are going to be older, kind of the same thing, 30s, 40s, and even prior 20s. I think the golden age of postcards was like, the 19 teens to 1930s. I would, something like that was like kind of the golden age of postcards. So there's a huge collector base for that period. It's all very interesting, and to me, there is a parallel between the two. I think that's what attracted me to postcards initially, actually, because I've been into the print ads far, far longer. The postcards is maybe about 2 years at this point. I just think there is a parallel. But that's interesting. Yeah, Outlaw Films, you could list much more recent stuff. It's still, you're welcome. It's still, somebody's going to collect it. Somebody's going to find it interesting. Victoria W. at the magazines. I'll have a lot of Turn Century magazine. Yeah, it's great. I agree 100%. Exactly. It shifts with time, right? There's a kind of proportionate, is that the word? Whatever. There's a parallel between, as each year goes by, a year older gets a year newer, and that shifts. What people by dad's age would think, from the 40s or whatever, that's their childhood, that's what they would remember. God forbid, but 20 years from now, if they're gone, that whole generation isn't going to be nostalgic about the 40s anymore. And then like my age group will be the old people thinking of the 60s and 70s as old, and as we all fall off, that thing just keeps moving. The scale just keeps moving forward. So to me, if you say 90s, it sounds like last week, but again, to a younger person, they're going to think 90s is older. And so it goes. There's no win in that thing. It's all relative. It's all the same thing. Let's be honest. I agree, Victoria. That's the two for me. Yeah, Victorian or Edwardian is like 1910, I think, or 1901 to 1910. I agree 100%. That's my two favorite areas too. I know it is hard to believe. Stuff that like was just normal stuff growing up for you're about the same age, right? 70s, 80s stuff. I don't think of it as old. I just don't. But it's all, age. What's considered old is all relative to your age, I guess, We've discussed this many times on my shows. I don't get into a whole thing about that, but you still feel exactly the same inside. It doesn't matter what the number says. You just do. Your body falls apart, but you still feel 18 forever. Divided back with golden age. Yeah, so that's like, up to Lenin is what, 30, 39? So like, yeah, that early century, like 1910, turn of the century to 1920 something is your golden age. Hi, Roger. How you doing? Have you ever seen the old ads out of the flight magazines from 40s or 60s? Amazing artwork. I'm sure there is. I'm up for any magazine, anywhere. I'm often asked. I was asked yesterday, even on the live show, National Geographic. What would you do about National Geographic? I'm in a group on Facebook with ephemera and stuff, and somebody came across, which is, you hear this story a lot. They came into like a huge collection of National Geographic, and the question was posed for the 5 millionth time, but that's okay because it's new to them. What should I do with these magazines? And I, raised my hand immediately. I'm like, carve them up. What do you mean carve them up? Because National Geographics, almost without exception, they have terrible sell. They're so common. How much can you sell? Go look on eBay. What's the going rate for just a general issue of National Geographic? It's not going to be a lot of money. But you cut out those ads, you make thousands of percent more than you would make for the magazine as a whole. So I kind of threw that out there, and not even raised eyebrows. Like, what do you mean the ads? I love that. I love, part of me wants to kind of keep that quiet, but again, there's so much paper out there, just like the postcard people. I mean, people have been collecting postcards for well over 100 years at this point. It's no secret. And there's millions and billions of pieces out there. So everybody have at it, have fun, learn about it, get into it. There's so much more money to be made. I can't think, you guys tell me, any magazine sellers out there that, not exclusively necessarily, but that like to resell magazines? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you get $10 for a magazine, $5 for a magazine. I could sell one ad for that or more than that, one piece of paper, and get 20 to 50 ads, And again, it's not like they're going to sell tomorrow. I understand that, but neither is your magazine, most likely, especially, some nondescript issue of National Geographic from 40 years ago. It's just going to sit there eternally. Would I source ads from library-bound volumes? I have a bunch of Punch magazines, and the pages just seem way too nice for the age. Sure. Again, yeah, I don't see any harm in that at all. It's the innards of the magazine that matter, not so much. I've talked about this too, but again, for new people or anybody that hasn't heard this before, I'm not hung up on the condition of the cover or back cover. It's really the innards that we care about, right? So if you see, a library mark on it or a mailing, some people are turned off by that, where there's like a mail, what do you call it? The mailing sticker. If somebody had a subscription to Life, let's just say, right? In fact, we're going to go through that tonight. There's, it's almost like, it's not a sticker. It's like a Xerox or, like the purple writing Xerox, right? Of an address on there. I don't care about that. And I'll identify that, or I'll mention that in the description. I'll say it has a, an address thing. Most people aren't going to care. It's very, very faded. It's kind of in the bottom right corner. It doesn't take away from the body of the advertisement. But yeah, along the way around it, trying to learn this is, yeah, I can't think of a magazine I wouldn't cut up, And again, as long as the innards of the magazine, the majority of the pages are in very good condition. I don't care if there's footprints on the cover and all that stuff. It doesn't matter to me, or rips, or as long as it doesn't, penetrate the magazine. If there isn't like a really huge glob of a water stain, I don't care. Carve them up, baby. Autopsy those things. I would carve up a magazine from yesterday, Brian. I really don't care when it's from, honestly, because collectors collect. And if somebody collects Canon camera ads or any camera ad, and there's a camera ad in a magazine that was, distributed last week, They might be collecting that product. They collect brands. They collect types of items. So I don't have any resistance towards a specific period. I'm not going to say, "Whoa, it's a 1994 magazine. I'm not going to look at it." I don't care. Anything. Sky's the limit. What's up, round one? Fur, fish, and game mag. Sure. Great to see you. Round one. Any magazine. I don't care what the magazine is. The magazine is so inconsequential other than the form factor, the size of the paper. The ads are the ads. The ads are very rarely, they're not going to tie into the specific magazine. If you're in a fur, fish, and game magazine, guess what? A lot of the ads are going to lean towards, sure. But, a National Geographic, Life, certainly Good Housekeeping, they all have, Heinz is going to, market themselves in all those magazines. They're not going to care that this one goes to Life and this one goes to Good Housekeeping. This one goes to, a fish magazine, tackle and bait magazine. It's an ad is an ad. And that's what the collectors are looking for. They're very rarely going to be looking for, a specific magazine. Again, unless they're just looking for a size. If they want a 14 by 11 advertisement, if they want something smaller like a National Geographic, which I think is 8.5 by 11, they might be a little finicky when it comes to that. They're collecting, maybe they want to frame it and they just want a certain size, or they want the larger ones, like we talked about from the, turn of the century stuff. But, get back to the point about, the advertising itself is going to be, the magazine that the advertising is in is almost irrelevant to me, unless you have a specific collector, getting back to this fish and hunting and all that stuff, guns or whatever. In fact, I came across some equestrian magazines, all horse stuff. That's going to be a little more unique and a little more niche for people that collect horse stuff. So I guess that's a great source if you want to, get some listings up that deal with equestrian items. So that's, or, airplane magazines or model railroad magazines. You're going to get some cool, unique ads because it's a magazine that's dedicated to a specific niche. But the vast majority of the everyday magazines that we all know and love, again, Heinz is going to market themselves in all of them across platforms. It doesn't really matter where it comes from, I don't think. Good evening, Jeff. I'm sorry, I don't remember if I said good evening, but good evening, sir. Great to have you. Yes, you do. Sometimes they remove the ads. Sometimes you lose some of the edge due to binding. But yes, love bound volumes. Yeah, I don't care. As long as there's no major damage, It almost seems like a copy. Not a fan of copies. All the stuff I list is original. I don't know if there even is a market for a copy. And if there is, you better be sure you indicate that it's a copy or, not an original. Fur, fish, and game. I got to look out for that one. Teen magazines. Yeah, sure. So with 60s teen magazines, probably, like with the monkeys on it or something or 70s with, David Cassidy. You're going to find there's a market for everything. People collect everything. That's going to be the common thread. People collect just about everything. It's amazing to me. It still amazes me, no matter how long I do it. And, sometimes I kind of giggle at myself if I'm listing something. I think, who the heck's going to ever buy this? Whatever it is. I'm trying to think of something really generic, a stove magazine from 1931. And sure enough, somebody buys it, Hot Point. They collect all things Hot Point, or they collect all things cast iron, or they collect all things, all they like appliance ads, they like refrigerator ads. It's amazing. There's people out there that just love this stuff. Used to subscribe to Fur, Fish, Game Mags in the 70s. Very cool. Enzo, Maron, what's going on, man? Case at each. Good to have you. Great to have you. Dry atmosphere, low moisture, low humidity, out of direct sunlight. I have a video, Brian. I have many videos, but I have a video talking about kind of how I store my stuff. I just have 5 foot tall metal file cabinets, and I keep all the magazines in there. I put once I've scanned the ads themselves, I put them in the same protective plastic covers from clear bags that I do when I ship them. So that keeps them, protected from any moisture. Water and paper don't mix. So I think that's the number one consideration, is make sure they're dry. Like, I'm in a basement down here. It's a finished basement. It's a beautiful basement, but there's still going to be moisture down here because it's a basement. You're subterranean. We have a couple of dehumidifiers going, but they only turn on when it's warm out, and we haven't had any warm weather yet, unfortunately, where I live. So they haven't come on once, but assuming we eventually get to spring and summer in this area, they will be fired up, and they'll keep everything, including myself, cozy and comfortable down here. But yeah, the main thing is definitely keep it protected from any moisture getting in, dry environment, no direct sunlight because of fading. So just a file cabinet's a great example. But if you want to check out the video, Brian, I have a whole series dedicated to print ads, soup to nuts kind of thing. And one of them kind of speak to that, how I store them. Just a suggestion, but it seems to work great for me. Needlecraft, Diane sells needlecraft magazines. There are sellers who carve them up, each individual pattern separately. There you go. Yeah. Patterns themselves sell really well. I know that too, Diane. My wife's grandmother just passed away, not just anymore, about 6 months ago. And she was a seamstress by trade forever. And she has tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of patterns dating back to like literally the 20s that we haven't even gotten into yet. But that's going to be something. Maybe that'll be a whatnot thing, or maybe that'll be something else. So maybe I'll go on Etsy with those. But I know that some of the patterns sell really well too. Carves Up magazines, never heard of. His ads came from quite an array of different. Oh, that's cool. Originality is a beautiful thing. What's up, Popeye? How you doing? Great to have you, man. Happy Friday. What's for dinner, Popeye? What was for dinner? It's 20 to 8 already. Great to have you. For the questions pertaining to postcards, who to watch, here's your number one culprit, John. Popeye's Postcards, amazing channel, great guy. King of Whatnot, that's for sure. Even though Whatnot's has let us down, so check out Popeye's video all about that. Some recent changes made to the Whatnot platform and the categorization of ephemera sellers in general. But great to have you, man. Thanks for popping in. No pun intended. Yes, everybody say hi. There we go. Hello. You buy tiles with lower circulation. That's a great idea. It's a great technique. It's a great, it's a great idea to do. But you will find kind of what I said earlier. I used Heinz as an example, not for any specific reason, but like you're going to find a Heinz ketchup ad in just about any magazine you could uncover. But you will find, to Greg's point here about trying to find some more unique magazines, you'll also find some very unique ads. And I'm a big proponent of this theory that, what in any commodity on earth, scarcity equals value typically, right? Supply and demand, the more scarce, the more rare something is, typically the more valuable, the more desirable it will be. So that the same holds true, whether it's a postcard, as Popeye can definitely contend to, or print ads, or anything you have, anything you're trying to sell. If you have something that's scarce, unique, and sought after, you're probably going to get more bang for your buck than a Niagara Falls postcard that there's 5 billion of. Or conversely, something in the print ad space like Campbell's soup ad with Campbell's soup ads, you'll find all the way back in the turn of the century, 1903, Campbell's soup ad, up till last week, there'll probably be a Campbell's soup ad. There's just billions of them. But as I say that, sure enough, they still sell. And I'm always amazed by that. It's something that's so common. But yet when you find a collector that's into that stuff, they're going to go after it. And if you have the item they want, they're going to purchase it from you. That's why you got to get them up. You got to let you list your sell. What's up, Biff? How you doing? Haven't heard from you in a bit. Hope you're doing well. You found a pretty cool Babe Ruth 4-page insert from 1930. My Houdini was a 1-pager. But it's interesting you say that, because that's something we should probably mention more, being ephemera people, not just trying to, trap everybody into the world of postcards and print ads exclusively. Within the realm of ephemera and in magazines specifically, as Biff alludes to, you'll find like articles or little features, little 4-page thing on Babe Ruth. I mean, you would think that would sell really well. Yeah, I had a Harry Houdini. Maybe it was a multi-page. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that, Biff. I apologize. I should remember that. I thought it was just 1 page, but I found a Houdini advertisement or Houdini featurette thing when he was still alive, which sold really well. Look for that. I've talked about this many times. I have an Elvis, like a 3 or 4-page Elvis insert that was in a Life magazine. The new young phenom Elvis. Elvis sells. Elvis is like the Beatles. Elvis is just his own category. People have, even though it's 60, 70 years ago at this point, almost, which is unbelievable. I guess it is, right? Yeah, 65 years ago when Elvis came out. People love Elvis. People collect Elvis. So yeah, don't sleep on those kind of things. You could always search out interesting articles. All these magazines have amazing articles. I try not to, because I know so many people talk about going down rabbit holes and things. Again, I'm going to go back to John because he's a postcard guy and he's probably touched billions of postcards in his 25 years. I try not to get caught up. The temptation is surely there. If I see something, especially if I'm attracted to a specific period like the World War II stuff, I'm tempted to look through every page of these magazines and read an article and stuff. I'll do that. If I really want to read something, I'll put it on the side, but I'll extract the ads that I want. I'll get them scanned, get them ready. And then if I have some downtime, I'll go back to, oh, look at this 4-page article about Teddy Roosevelt. I love presidential stuff. I'll read that, after the fact, but I don't want to get, caught into that trap where I have an issue of a specific magazine with something compelling to me. And rather than taking the ads out, I'm sitting here spending an hour thumbing through it. Put it on the side, save it for a rainy day with a cup of coffee and read your articles. Are they really interesting, Dan? Cool. You do well with those? And hello to you, Biff. Leftover barbecue chicken. Beautiful. Some of the best baked beans on earth are made by Popeye's Postcards. I still say you should. That's your fortune. Forget the postcards. Just make you. No, I'm not kidding. Make the baked beans and distribute them. They're yummy. 30 volumes of library by magazines dating between 1859. Wow. There you go. To what I said earlier. Exactly. Don't be turned off by a cover that looks, disheveled and say, I'm not going to get them. It's the innards. Exactly. That's the wording I use. The innards are what matter. Stephanie Canada is a channel specializing in reselling sewing patterns and other things. Oh, cool. Very cool, Hydra. On the YouTubes. Good. Yeah, feel free if you guys have any favorite channels or something that have something to do with what we're talking about. Feel free to mention them. Not a problem at all. All right. I think we're going to start listing now. We're almost an hour in already, and we haven't even opened up a sharing screen yet, have we? But the conversation's been so entertaining, there's been no need to. Thanks to all of you for coming in. Please do, if you have a moment, just leave a thumbs up on the video, either now or before you get out of here. I'd appreciate that. Legend is that those thumbs up help YouTube's algorithm distribute videos out to more people. The more likes, the more, they'll be pushed out to other people that maybe haven't found me yet or haven't found anything about any of us, ephemera in general. Maybe they're interested in it. So it just gives viewers out there the opportunity to find our stuff. So please do leave a thumbs up if you have a moment. I would greatly appreciate it. And I guess we will, let me refresh my other screen. Thusly, if it ever comes back on, I have a Mac Mini running on this side. So we're going cross-plat. We got the Windows machine. We got the Mac Mini, which isn't too bad. It's okay. Okay. Let us share a screen and let's do some listing. How does that sound, everybody? You guys into that? Or do you just want to hang out and chat and watch me drink water? I'm fine with that too. I'm going to list them whether it's on the show or not. So it's up to you guys if you want to participate and hang out and enjoy some 1945 ads. Oh, my goodness, I'm very thirsty tonight for some reason. I vote for listing. Let's list. Just give me a second. I'm going to get rid of some stuff like that little ticker. We'll do a share screen. Put me down there. We'll get rid of the banner because it takes up some valuable real estate up there at the top left of the screen. If I can figure out where the heck that is again. There it is. Boom. And then we'll have more space for the actual advertisements. Yes, sir. Biff, they are from October 1st of 1945. Life magazine. Already queued up the first one because it's got kitties in it. And when you got kitties in your ad, I don't care what the ad is about. People collect kitties. Whether it's a postcard, whether it's a piece of ephemera, whether it's a trading card, whether it's a print ad. People dig kitties. People like their kitties. Well, this one happens to be an Arcea Victor radio advertisement with, looks like a mama and her 2 little kittens, but we will get into the details of it. Jim says he's listing, so should I. Bravo, sir. I agree with you. Enough of the yapping. Let's do some listing, right? But yes, to Biff's question, these are from life. Let me make sure I have live chat on and not top chat. Yes, I do. Cool. Okay. Well, this first one, let's kick it off with this RCA Victor. I don't care what it is. You got 3 cats on it. There's your selling point. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's a radio. There's something in heredity. We'll take a look at what that means in more detail. But we have RCA Victor radio, print ad, cat, kittens. 2 potent keywords, I would say. But let's take a look at the ad itself. I have the full blow up here through the miracle of the internet. We can see all the glorious detail. There's something in heredity. Garden variety kittens are so common that sometimes it's hard to give them away. Garden variety kittens. That's an interesting terminology. Talking about the first the first post-war radio sets. I think that's an interesting term too. We are talking, this is an issue from October 1st, which means it was probably printed in August or September. I think Hiroshima was in August, correct? Or 45. So you're talking like extremely new post-World War II. It's a brand new world. Then you can see there's an RCA radio show on Sunday at 4:30. Dial in your local NBC station. But that's a nice, drawing of a cat, some kittens playing with a spool of thread. There's the radio set. Beautiful piece of furniture. The new RCA Victor sets will include many great improvements, the result of experience gained to 350 different types of war equipment. So we're still talking war. It's so fresh. And that's my angle here is you're going to get the World War II stuff, the World War II collectors involved. You have all the iconic, His Master's Voice, the spokesman, if you will, for RCA forever. But anyway, really what it comes down to as far as this, there she is, Dawn, Queen of Canada is here. Welcome to the show. She must have heard that we were listing kitty cats and she came on. Good to have you, Dawn. Welcome aboard. Cat kittens, post-war, what other word would you guys use? Spool, thread. Just a series of keywords. One of the things I had to teach myself is to get out of the habit of trying to write a cohesive sentence or a cohesive set of words. These are just keywords. eBay is a robot. It doesn't care about your grammar. It doesn't care about stuff. That's why they actually shy away from, supposedly. There's no need to put apostrophes, all that kind of stuff, dashes in your title. You're basically wasting characters is what we've all been told. Again, it's a robot. It doesn't care. It's not grading you other than you have, effective keywords in there to properly present your items to potential buyers. So it's very important what you put in there, but don't worry about it making sense, reading correctly. Cats are jerks. Well, that I agree with. Jeff is out of here. All right. Happy birthday to your granddaughter. Take care of you, Jeff. Thanks for popping in, though. I appreciate it, man. All right. So there's our kitty cat ad to kick things off. I mean, what better way, right? We got radios. Let's go through the dance here, right? There's our title. We're in the radio category. Got my radio. This is my store categories. RCA Victor. It's original. It's print ad. These are all kind of the basic set of specifics we have to put in. There's my details. October 45 life. There's the dimensions. There's my price. Away we go. Just like that, we have a listed ad. Biff says he never prepositions titles. I believe they are filtered out. I think so too. In fact, I kind of know some. I'm pretty sure there's been many, and it's not just like hearsay from other YouTubers. I'm pretty sure I've read things to that effect in years gone by that it is literally a waste of a character. So don't worry about putting, an apostrophe or an explanation point. It's nonsensical from the viewpoint of eBay's algorithm. It doesn't care, and you're just wasting precious. You have 80 characters to utilize in those titles. So don't waste them on dashes and equal signs and apostrophes and explanation points and periods. Mark says it's almost 2:00 in Mallorca, Spain. It's great to have you, man. Thanks for burning the midnight oil there and hanging out with us. Almost 8:00 here on the East Coast of the U.S. But great to have you, man. I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Hopefully catch some more lives. Hasta luego. Some morning she's found. This morning she was lonely. Oh. All right, one down. 29 to go. So pack a bag, folks. Put a pot of coffee on the kettle, or kettle of coffee, whatever it is. Kettle of tea, a pot of coffee. All right, that is the kitty cat ad done, but you could see we got a whole bunch more. We got 29 more luscious ads from 1945. I was going to say 45. No particular order. We're going to go to Lipton Soup because, believe it or not, somebody out there collects Lipton soup ads or food ads in general or all soup ads or all things Lipton or any combination of those things. Or they might be intrigued by the type of bowl that is in the picture. It's incredible to me, the things that people find, entertaining or interesting and attractive to them that they want to buy. Noodle soup. There is a generic soup category under advertising. Nothing specifically for Lipton or for, believe it or not, or even Campbell's, but you can see food and beverage soup is right there. So that's where this will live. Subject soup, absolutely. We'll put my store category to food. Like that. And then we'll fill out these particulars. This is Lipton. It's a perfect example right here. If you look at the ad itself, it says Lipton's, right? I think it says, yeah, Lipton's noodle soup. If I was going to put Lipton's, I would just put an S there. And although my computer might give me a spell check because it's supposed to have a, Popeye sent me a message on, okay, I will check that out, man. Thank you. It's supposed to have an apostrophe or whatever. I would not put in that. I would not put that in because eBay doesn't care. And odds are if you searched Lipton's with the apostrophe or without, either one, they're both going to come back to the correct answer. Print ad, United States soup, multicolor. Print ad is the type of advertising. That's what we're doing here tonight. From 1945. Again, there's all the specifics. Let's take a look at this one. Get rid of that. Let's pull up the Lipton soup ad and see what we can extract from that. Anything interesting? Some nice, well, that looks yummy, doesn't it? Like some beef skewers on there with some olives and some tomatoes. Oh, man, that's a nice soup bowl. Got some like corn muffins going up there. We got a couple of glasses of nondescript beverage. Got some mixed vegetables. Got a nice garden salad. Exciting pantry shelf supper. There you go. Old-fashioned chicory noodle soup. Chickeny noodle soup. So we're going to put that in. And then we have, is this yep, it's sort of a recipe, right? Something I do like to indicate would be a recipe. So this is there's enough in there to go with. We'll go old-fashioned chicken. That's what I'm going to put in. What was the term? Supper. What was the thing? Pantry shelf supper. I don't think all that's going to fit, but we'll try. Look at that, 79. Go back. I'm sorry. I'm missing a little bit because of the different computer. Sorry, folks. And a little bit of a delay. You've sold Lipton. They sell. Absolutely. You sold a Drano ad. Yeah. Absolutely. Everything sells. It's incredible, isn't it? I'm going to check out Popeye's message on my phone in just a second. Laney Lord, welcome to the show. You've noticed that bundling ads never works. I haven't tried to bundle ads, so I can't speak to that. Ren Gregory, how you doing? Welcome to the show. You cut out the ads for the magazines, then photograph them. I have some cool magazine with ads in them. I need to check out ephemera. Absolutely. I mean, I scan them. Choose your method of photography. You can use a cell phone nowadays and get a pretty good photo of a piece of paper, of an advertisement, of a postcard, of any kind of ephemera. But I agree with you, Ren. You got to get into the ephemera. It's great stuff. Like anything else, it has its pros and cons, but I'm a big fan of this stuff. Definitely check out, if you haven't checked it out, Ren, check out, I have a whole video series all about print ads specifically. If you want to check that out, if you want to get your feet wet with it a little bit, if it's new to you, check out the series. I could kind of show you how I scan them personally. They come out really, straight and clear and stuff. That's how I like to do them. But I agree with you. You got to get into it, Ren. Great to have you. Welcome to the show. You photograph your mod user scanner. Yes, I do. A link in description. Thank you, Dawn. I agree. You'd put terrine in there. Oh, for the soup thing? Yeah. There's only so many words. And how do you not put pantry shelf supper in your title? But I appreciate that. Yeah. Not everything sells. Eventually, they all do. They really do. These what I mean by that term, everything sells, is you'll find collectors for virtually any product you can imagine. That's really what I mean by that. Doesn't mean they're all going to sell tonight, but they will all sell. Great. You'll check it out. Cool. Very cool. Thank you, Ren. I appreciate it. No matter what ad you have, someone else has it for $5 plus $3. Yeah. So what? Let them sell what they want for what they want. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, there's the playlist if you'd like to check that out, Ren. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get this Lipton chicken soup ad listed. What do you say? I say we do it. This one I'm going to go down a little bit. Nothing too exciting. Let's check out Popeye's message. It's like the bat phone going off. Okay. All right, there's two down. Do we have any more food ads? Food ads going once, food ads going twice. I do like to try to, we've discussed this how many times, folks, but there's a bunch of new faces in here. So for the edification of those who are new, what I try to do, what I'm listing, and this is again not tied directly to print ads necessarily, but if I have a series of food ads, let's just say, I'll try to list them all in succession because it's just a couple less clicks. They're all going to be in kind of the same category, and just it makes it easier. So I'm trying to look to see if there's another food ad here. I have a couple of booze ads. I have some. It's a really good variety actually tonight. I'm impressed with this magazine and the variety of stuff that I was able to pull out of it. Like you see the booze there, you can see some trucks and cars. Those are kind of, oh, you're going to find that all the time. Do I see an actual food ad though? Got the cigarette ads, of course. Tell me I don't have any more food ads. That's crazy. Got a root beer ad. That's not food, it's beverage. Man, I'm shocked. I don't think I have another food ad. Tell me if you guys see one and I'm just blind. It's quite possible. Otherwise, we'll jump to something else. Sorry, taking care of some extracurricular activity. Just 1 second, folks. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's just say we have no more food ads. If we find another one, so be it, right? We'll go back. Got radio. We did the radio ad before, so I should have probably done another radio ad. Let's do this one. We'll go to Philco. Makers of radios, makers of record players. You can see it's right there. There you go. Sensational new radios and phonographs from Philco, the leader. So that's, look at everybody's creeping in on the store window. There's a little circle there. Everybody's trying to peer their eyes through it. It's kind of interesting looking, nice ad right there. Some of these ads look very familiar. Sure. I'm just trying to catch up. I'm sorry in the chat. Lanny is frustrated by listing ads. Then don't list ads, man. That's all I can tell you. Some of the ads look familiar. Cool. Less common ones out there, but typically old pre-20 special magazines. Karen, looks like you're trying to find a postcard that nobody else had. Surefire trip to Frustration City. Yeah. Right, exactly. Because those, you're going to have 10 billion newspaper ads about Kennedy. The moon landing is another one people think is worth a lot of money. They're worth nothing because it's, again, supply and demand. There were just so many printed of these monumental events in history. Jim is sold. Yeah, exactly. Commonality doesn't, my earlier point about generally speaking, when something's scarce, it adds value to it. That's pretty much true. But the opposite isn't always true. It doesn't mean that something, again, Popeye could speak to this. The guy sold millions of postcards through the years. Just because something is common doesn't mean it won't sell. It might take longer to sell than something that's really unique and highly sought after, but it will eventually sell to the right buyer. You know, people that collect these things. So it doesn't, I'm not afraid of listing just because there's 5 million Campbell Soup ads doesn't mean that there's not somebody else that wants that Campbell Soup ad that hasn't seen that specific one. So I list them all. And then the market will bear what the market bears, right? So we're going to Philco Radio on this one. There is a radio category for sure under collectible, under advertising, excuse me, right there. Boom. And we'll go to radio on my store category right there. And we'll fill in the specifics here. This is Philco. Original 45, 45. Not the most exciting looking ad, granted, but somebody might beg to differ. Somebody might be saying, I've been waiting my whole life to find that Philco ad from 1945 with people looking in a window. And finally, it's presented itself. Sensational radios and photographs from Philco the leader. That's really all it says. If anybody could think of some cool words, I mean, you got some policemen there. We could throw that in there. The hats in general are awesome. But basically, they're all looking in a shop window that's kind of grayed out, except for that little circle it looks like in the middle, right? What's a good way to, I guess, put shop window? Maybe that's a good term we could use here. If anybody has any other suggestions, let me know. Enzo asked if I'm deleting the scan right after list. Yeah, I do delete them, Enzo. Absolutely, I do. I do. It's my own accounting system, so I know what I have left in a population. Like you can see, I have a folder here, right? This is just stuff I scanned before the show. 2 list scans, and there's the tree of the path to the scans folder. But yeah, I delete them afterwards. This way I know what I have left. I have everything saved on iCloud Photos. So if I had to go back for whatever reason, plus I have the physical magazines right to my left in those drawers. So I'm never like worried about, I could rescan something in 30 seconds if the picture gets lost. Eager shoppers, that's a good one. Product anticipation is also a good term. How would you word an ad from a 1970 magazine features in 1971? Good question. For me personally, I always put the year on the front, as you could see. So I put 1970 Toyota, whatever, Nissan, Datsun, Pinto, whatever the brand is, right? Ford Pinto. I'd put 1970 Ford Pinto. Then I put something like model year 71 or something that speaks to the new model year 71. Happens all the time with the car ads. It's a great question, but that's how I do it. I put the year of the year that the ad is coming from. The magazine, the issue is from 1970, but it's October and later in 1970. So it's going to be talking about the 71 model year. I'd use something like that. Model year is a good word or term to use for the car. So model year 71, and so on. Looks like people waiting for the new iPhone. Yeah, exactly. The same level of anticipation. That was I like that, Greg. Eager shopper, I like. I dig that one a lot. We're going to borrow that one. Eager shoppers. Love that. Got shopping shoppers. 2 different words, right? A play on the same word, but it's a cool one, though. I think that's kind of nice. So let's list that one. All righty. There's a few down. I lost track. 3, 2 or 3. There's no reason to keep score. I have 30 scanned. We'll see how many we get to. We've been on for over an hour already, which has been, time flies, as they say. So yeah, to the question earlier, boom, I delete this one, and now I know I've listed it, right? So here's my population remaining to be listed. See if we have any more radio. We got a clock ad there. That's kind of nice. I've sold this brand Tektron alarm clocks. They sell pretty well. We have a Boeing ad, which is really nice. Do we have any more record or radio ads? I'm kind of dismissing the smaller ones for now. It's harder for me to see, quite frankly. So there might be another radio ad in a smaller form, but if that's the case, I'll get to them later on. Just like I try to do all the food ads in succession, let's say, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the full page all at once. Then I'll do all the, 14 by 5 inch ads all together, just for ease. When I go down to my description, I put the dimensions in. I'll change the dimension once and do, 5 or 6 consecutive 14 by 5 inch, let's just say. So I'm not going back and forth and back and forth. All these little steps, it's not going to change the world, but it saves a minute here, it saves a minute there. And if you're doing this for hours and hours, it really helps your productivity. So that's just my suggestion. Westinghouse, that's a radio ad. I think this actually says TV too, which when you think about, this is 1945. That's very, very early in the TV, the world of television. So Westinghouse radio. What makes this nice is now we don't have to change the category. It's still going to be radio. We're just going to change the product from Philco, or the brand, excuse me, from Philco to Westinghouse. Bam, everything else stays the same. My category here stays the same, and we'll take a look at this one. I know it talks about television, though, so we'll put that in there. This is a sneak peek at the alarm clock. Westinghouse radio cabinets are beautiful, and the radio engineering, what you expect from Westinghouse. Cabinet's a good term. Got this guy kicking back. Well, he was a wannabe conductor, I guess, and he's kicking back and listening to his orchestra. Picture of the Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra of New York. You see that? True to life performance. 6 times as much record storage space as the exact same pre-war. So you're going to see a lot of this terminology, which is brand new, pre-war, post-war stuff. Another example of originality. Something new you never seen before. Radio, television. I knew there was a TV reference in here. Westinghouse radio. So they've added television to this. It's still a world of radio primarily, and records, of course, record players, but TV is going to start infiltrating now that the war has ended. All right, so I think I might indicate, the old guy's trying to be, unless he is a conductor. I'm saying the old guy. It might be somebody legendary. If anybody knows who that is, let me know. I think of every time I see the old Boeing ad now. Is that some legendary conductor? I don't think so. I think it's just a guy. But we did get some groovy terms to use, I think. Like the record storage, I'm probably going to cite that. What was the other one I liked? There was a term I liked. Cabinet. Radio cabinets. Radio engineering. So let's start filling in some keywords here. Cabinet. I'll put conductor. Orchestra. Roger says, looks like that modern speaker commercial where the guy is laying back and the sound is hitting him like, oh yeah, isn't it for the cassettes? Whatchamacallit? The famous is it Memorex? Is it Memorex? Is it real or is it Memorex? Yeah, with the guy getting the wind blown from the sound. Exactly. It's an earlier version of that. Live in Memorex. Exactly, Jim. Cool. All right, there's another one. List. Memorex. Well, Maria says Maxell. Yeah, another legendary tape brand, sure. Live in Memorex was the glass shattered. Right? Cassettes sell too. I have tons of cassettes for sale. And lots more to list. Everything old is new again, folks. It's another lesson. The longer you live, you see things come and go and come back and go again and come back. It's pretty funny. Especially if you have kids. Clothing styles and things. Bell bottoms have been cool and very uncool about three or four times in my life already. I know in the 30s they were vogue, and then the 70s, the 60s, 70s they came back. This is kind of funny. Hello, Lori. How you doing? You are new to selling print ads. What is your recommendation on how to price them without going down a rabbit hole? I hate that dreaded rabbit hole. Stay away from it. I would kind of just use your judgment originally. Like you could feel free to copy my pricing scheme. I really don't care. And mine fluctuates based on the wind, but something that's kind of run of the mill. And what I define as run of the mill is like a Marlboro Man cigarette ad, right? Millions of them. A Coca-Cola, generic Coca-Cola ad, Campbell's soup, things that have been around for all eternity. And there's millions of, 10, 11, 12 bucks is kind of where I would land. You could feel free to undercut me and go to 5 or 6. I don't care. There's enough buyers out there and enough interest, but I agree with you. I wouldn't want to go down rabbit holes. The stuff I go down rabbit holes on, if you will, are the more scarce things that are really, really special. I sold 120, 160, what did I sell for? $160, a baseball player, Honus Wagner, the most valuable baseball card is a Honus Wagner baseball card. So I found an issue, I think it was 1909 or 1910 magazine, that all the way in the back had this little tiny 2 or 3 inch tall, 2-inch wide Honus Wagner print ad, but it was for like chewing gum or something. But it was the exact same. I recognized the image was the same one that's on that $1 million baseball card. I went, So I priced that one at like $180 or something, just based on that. And sure enough, it's sold, because you're not going to find that every day. Well, you're going to find a Coke ad, the last 120 years, you'll find Coke ads in every magazine ever made. So just use your better judgment. There really is no rules. And in some extent, you can make your own market in this stuff. Just kind of, if you want to just get your feet wet a little bit and kind of look at, print ads in general and see what they're priced for, go ahead and do that. I've never been one to unlike postcards where I do a little more research, certainly, but print ad stuff, I don't know. I just kind of price them where I think is a reasonable price and go with it. And then I have offers. I accept offers, best offers on my stuff. I'll send out offers. I have enough or copy my pricing. Yeah, I wouldn't do that only because mine changes what I feel like doing. There's no rule. There's no rule. Supply and demand, baby. That's the rule. Let the market determine. If you want to be really unique, go out and I'd put them all up on an auction. See what the market bears. Hello, is it Sui? Welcome to the show. I use different prices, Sui, but you can see tonight because I'm listing a bunch of print ads. Usually like your run-of-the-mill one-page print ad, somewhere between 12 and 15 bucks is usually my pricing, more or less. Exactly, Jim. Yeah. And it's not a huge niche, so it's not that hard to learn, quote unquote, either. It's like just like so many other things. If you're familiar with records and you just have a general sense of what bands are popular and what bands sell and what artists sell and what don't, if you have a concept of what is a really rare record from a specific artist versus a very common album, you kind of just know generally that, a Butcher cover Beatle album is going to be worth $1,000 and, a copy of, I'm trying to think of somebody really basic, I don't know, Lionel Richie or something is not going to be worth that much. No offense to Lionel Richie or his fans, but you know what I mean? You just kind of use your own knowledge of things and products in general, because it's not that ads have a value necessarily. Ads are like postcards, kind of unique. There's thousands, millions of different products out there being marketed to us, right? So like maybe if you just want to kind of if you want to do a little research beforehand, if you're brand new at this, you could just like search a term like Coca-Cola print ad, Coca-Cola advertising, something like that, paper advertising. And just take a look at what the pricing is, look at the solds, see what a Coca-Cola ad kind of goes for, see what a Ford car from 1940 and earlier go for. Look for, you could do searches like that. I don't think that's necessarily a rabbit hole. That's just educating yourself and getting yourself familiar with markets that you're interested in introducing yourself into. Me, I kind of just dove in and said, 10 bucks, 15 bucks. And when they start selling, you get more confident that, okay, that must be a reasonable market price, And sure enough, if somebody's out there selling it for $5, good luck, then sell them for $5. It's no skin off my nose. I make enough return on these things that even if I don't want to sell them for $5, but even if they sold for $5, it's thousands of % profit from what they cost me. So just do a little research if you enjoy that kind of stuff, because I love that. I love researching and learning my niche and other niches and getting into the woods a little bit with that stuff. eBay is a wonderful tool to do that, right? Look at what's active, what's sold. That'll give you a sense of sell-through rates on these things and all that, which, quick hint, print ads don't have a great sell-through as far as, time frame. But I say that, and sure enough, I swear to you, two ads that I listed yesterday both had offers sent to me already. And then I could list 10 ads tonight that won't sell for 3 years and everything in between. So it really is, as corny as it sounds, it comes down to the right person being on at the right time, seeing your item, which is why you need to get, if you want to succeed in this anyway, get as many as you can up and be consistent with your listing. Try to get a good portion of these, if you have access to it and you have a process in place on how to list them, which I'm kind of showcasing on all these live shows, right? These listing shows. The more you have up there, the more opportunities there are to sell them. Exactly. eBay does have all the answers. Well put. I agree. Does size matter on pricing? Hey now. And types of ads you wouldn't list because of content marks, saturation. I appreciate it. No, it's fine, Lori. No problem. I don't think the size matters much at all. And getting back to what I just talked about, the most expensive ad I've sold was a 2-inch by 3-inch ad, 2 by 4-inch ad. So no, I don't think the size. I have a video titled "Size Doesn't Matter" on your print ad. It's really the content that matters. It's the content. It's the desirability, and all that good stuff. Like anything else. Any types I wouldn't list because of content or market saturation. Market saturation, absolutely not. I don't care. Content, there's been a bunch of. I wouldn't put anything that's, blatantly offensive to anyone. I wouldn't put anything that's violent, stuff like that. Just again, common sense. It really, come on, it's common sense. It's common sense. If it's not for sale in your local shop, you probably shouldn't put it online. Oh, there you go. Thanks again. Yeah, Lori, I have a whole series exactly on print ads. If you watch that, and feel free to ask as many questions as you like. I welcome it. But if you have an opportunity, if you haven't had the opportunity yet, check out the playlist. It's pretty comprehensive. Always room for improvement and additions or maybe even deletions. But I think it's a good kind of basic, print ad 101 series that'll kind of get you introduced to it and hopefully answer a lot of the basic questions that would be typical of new people getting into the niche. All right. Where did we leave off? I forgot. What was the last one we just listed? Did I delete it already? I really did forget. Was it a radio ad? All right. Moving right along. Let us go to where should we go? That's an interesting one for playing cards. You don't see many ads for playing cards. I thought that was nice. Oh, Columbia Records. Stay in the world of music. Columbia Records. And again, thank you all for coming in on a Friday night. I really appreciate you spending some time and hanging out. Please leave a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. And if you could leave 2, leave them 2. But I'd be happy with 1. I think you can only leave 1. We have the world's greatest Wagnerian soprano. Don't you know? Helen Trouble? Anybody familiar with Miss Trouble? We'll blow this up for more clarification, but that's the nuts and bolts of this one. It's for Columbia Records, so we will go to see what we have a combination. I'm going to keep it in radio. Even though it's really a phonograph. Actually, we can go to phonographs, I think. No, we'll leave it in radio. What the heck? It's music. Columbia, which I already have in here. All right, let's take a look at the world's greatest Wagnerian soprano, whatever that is. Granddaughter feed me cake, then said, see ya, then ran off. Typical, right? Good. I'm glad you're back, man. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. Let's go back to this legendary soprano that nobody's heard of. No, I'm only kidding. Helen Trouble, records for Columbia, excerpts from Wagner's immortal opera, Tristan and Isolde. Any opera aficionados out there? Oh, we got some Deutsch going. Via Lacher, the world's greatest Wagnerian soprano. Wagnerian. Wagner is in the German opera composer. And then you got other superstars like Rudolf Serkin, Adolf Busch, Bedu Sayo, Bruno Walter. And of course, who can ever forget Vronsky and Bobbin or Babin or Bobbin, Columbia Masterworks Records. All right. So we definitely, all jokes aside, I mean, there's probably going to be a collector base out there for opera singers, legendary Wagnerian sopranos, and the like. So if you are out there, I got just the ad for you. What was it called? Master opera. We got to put opera in there, right? What was the term they used though? Masterworks. So let's put an opera singer. That's probably good enough. What do you guys think? I think that's a heck of a description, personally. A heck of a title. Kind of checks all the boxes I could think of anyway. All right, boom. Listed. Dropping like flies, folks. Dropping like flies. Jeff is back. Let's see what's next. Any more music, radio, records, phonographs? Don't think there are. I think we have exhausted all those. It's a car ad, of course. It's always going to be car ads. You're always going to see pre-70s, when did cigarette ads stop being 71? No, not ads. Commercials were like 71. Ads were still into the, and when I was in high school, there was still cigarette ads all over the place, for sure. So strike that. Let's go to, we got the booze, of course. All the vices are covered. You got the Camel. This is a cool ad. Camel cigarettes. But you have a like trapeze artist on there, which we're going to have to take a closer look at for sure. Cigarettes. This is the back cover. And as such, I'm going to make some, we talked earlier about the address thing being on back covers sometimes. This one has one. I'm going to point that out. I'm going to change my description, alter it a little bit to, clearly identify that that's present. And it's a little dirtier than the inside, but it's still in really good shape. And it's a unique enough image, I think, anyway, of, these trapeze artists. I mean, when do you see that, right? Trapeze artist. And then we'll get to the gal's name. Oh, yeah, the Flintstones. Exactly. All right. Just like now, you see every football game, all you see is beer ads. It's the equivalent. All you saw was cigarette ads. And if they one day ban beer ads, then the NFL is going to be out of business really quickly. And I don't think that would be a bad thing. But seriously, folks, it's all about hockey, right, John? I'm going to put this in general. There is no cigarette advertising section, sadly. So I have to put it in the abyss that is like all things advertising, 1940 to 1949. But in my store, I do have a cigarette category because there's a bunch of cigarette ads. Tons and tons and tons. And boy, do people dig their cigarette ads. Let's change this to print ad. Let's change this to Camel, right? I think that was the ad. Yes, it is Camel. This one I'm pricing up. So the question earlier, what do you do about pricing? I'm pricing this higher because it's unique. It's different. And again, you're going to capitalize on people that are collecting Camel cigarette ads, any cigarette ad, circus stuff, trapeze artist stuff. They don't care what the product is necessarily. They just want to collect all things circus related, or vice versa. They don't care that there's a circus. They collect all things Camel. So one of my main goals all the time is to go and, try to capture at least two or more collector groups. When at all possible. It's not always feasible, but when it is possible, try to attract several groups of people in there. Like I just said, somebody that just collects cigarette stuff, somebody that collects circus stuff, the odd chance that somebody collects specifically trapeze artist stuff. Because how often are you going to see a trapeze artist featured in an advertising piece in a Life magazine? Probably not so often, I would be willing to bet. Aretha Franklin. Now that is a funny name. I got to say, that's hysterical. Welcome to the show. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no problem. Cutoff year wasn't worth listing print ads as opposed to just general magazine itself or a cutoff year in general. I don't believe there's a cutoff year. We kind of touched on this earlier in the show. Ads are ads. I just personally don't have, at least at present date, any newer magazines. I probably do have some newer magazines, but I don't have any newer magazines that I've put off to the side to take ads out of and list online. I'm not adverse to a magazine that was printed yesterday. I don't care if it has an advertisement that's compelling to somebody. I'll list it. So no, I don't think personally, I don't believe there's any cutoff or anything like that. No, it just happens that my magazines are all primarily I could have to do an accounting or an audit on my my store, but I'd be willing to bet that the majority of my ads are pre 1950. From like late 1890s to 1950s, probably the majority of my stuff. And I just happen to dig that stuff personally a little more. But to the question, no, I wouldn't be against listing a magazine that was printed yesterday. If it has something, Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola and people are going to collect Coke ads, anything that might be attractive to somebody, I'm willing to list it. I don't have a cutoff and I say, I refuse to list anything post 1981. I don't care. And Dawn just says she sold 2013. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Modern magazines can. Yes, I don't sell the magazines as a whole. I don't know if I'm misreading this because it's 20 foot away from me, but thank you so much. I was thinking even for modern magazines selling an article. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the magazine itself. I don't sell the magazines as a whole. I cut them up, autopsy them as we've described. But yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, I think there's going to be a collector base for virtually every product we know. Greg's newest is 06. Yeah, see, I don't have anything close to that. I listed a couple, I don't know, a month or so ago, I guess probably at this point. I think 1979 is the newest magazine I've listed on a show. I know I have 81 or 82 because Sinatra was playing in Atlantic City in 82, and I have a Sinatra ad. What's his name? Steve Wynn. Remember Steve Wynn? Now they have a Wynn casino in Vegas, but at the time they didn't have that. He was like an Atlantic City guy. When gambling was brought, when the casinos came down to Atlantic City, for those who know or remember, and Sinatra played there, and there was a famous commercial with Sinatra comes popping out from, I think it was 81 or 82, and I have an ad to that effect. So I know I listed that one. And, every era is going to have something interesting or something that was maybe, my big thing with the really old stuff. Like I literally have ads that predate the existence of radio, so like you'll see in the early mid 20s when radio kind of starts creeping into the American society, you'll start seeing, the latest and greatest, the amazing futuristic technology that has evolved to allow for spoken voice to be brought into your home. And they'll talk about that like it's the greatest thing. And it was new at the time, going to an electric typewriter was monumental. Of course, television, even the advent of flight, believe it or not, especially commercial flight, which really didn't take off, get it, until around the 30s, I think is when people really started, Charles Lindbergh was 1927. That was like a gimmicky thing, but there was airmail and stuff. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows this specifically, but I'm going to say early 30s is kind of the advent of commercial flying. So, I mean, I have tons of ads that predate flight, commercial flights, certainly. So I love that kind of stuff. I really dig that. So to that point, like with newer stuff, like if you get a magazine from 1983 and it talks about the amazing new invention that is the compact disc, that could be compelling to somebody that collects that stuff. It's the introduction of a product that now people are familiar with, but at the time was revolutionary and new, which I remember very well. I'm sure a lot of us do. Name your thing. Going from 78 records to 33 and a third was a big deal. Singles, 45 singles, that was a big change. So if there's an advertising piece talking about that change and this new modern miracle that is television, that is radio, I love that stuff. So you'll find that in virtually every era. It's definitely by the 80s, Commodores and really, the early Macs and video games, Ataris and all that stuff in late 70s, early 80s. Pong, which I had like 76, 77, we had Pong, the video game. All that kind of stuff. If you have an advertisement for that, sure, there's going to be people that love that stuff and collect that stuff. So every decade, decade and a half, every 5 years even, there's going to be new developments and stuff that come to the forefront and that become, very popular. And if you can capture some stuff, movies, you'll find ads in magazines that promote new movies coming out. Casablanca. I think I had a Casablanca ad for the new movie Casablanca coming to a theater near you. Wizard of Oz would be like one of the dream ones to get. I haven't had that one, but name your film. In the 40s, you're going to have a lot of John Wayne and the war films during the war. That kind of stuff is really cool to list, and people collect that. You're going to capture a whole population of movie buffs, and there's millions of movie buffs out there that collect that stuff. So you're grabbing, that's the appeal to me about these print ads. They reach across so many different groups of collectors. And I find that very exciting. Greg says the railroad ads from the 50s are funny when the passenger rail is starting to die. Yeah, right. Great. Actually, railroads are a great example. Yeah, the railroads were the kings from the 20s, 30s, 40s. They were everywhere. All the songs in the 40s I listened to on. We have Alexa upstairs in the kitchen, little Alexa machine thing, and I'll say, Alexa, play 1940s pop music or whatever. And half the songs, Chattanooga Choo Choo and Pennsylvania 455, that they're all radio songs. It's hysterical. A lot of, they're all train songs, a lot of train songs, even in the old days, Boxcar Willie, all that stuff, train songs were really cool. I got all these notifications popping up because I got the MacBook, the iMac next to me. So I got all these things popping up for other YouTube channels that I have to close because they're getting in the way of the, the chat. Lori says she sold some articles. Very cool. Very cool. Diane says about framing. Framing, almost everybody, when it comes to print ads, almost all my buyers wind up framing these things. And I've even had people send me, now if you guys have the new messaging functionality, they just changed the format where it looks more like a text conversation on eBay. You can opt in or out of that, I think. But it's pretty cool. I've had several people reach out and, send me a message. Thanks so much. This, the car ad looks great in my garage or whatever. And they'll show me a picture of it. I get a lot of gratification from that. So all those folks like Dawn Wright who would initially say, oh my God, you can't rip up these magazines. They've been around for, it's so sacrilege to do it. To me, it breathes new life into these pieces of paper that should have been thrown out 80 years ago, and now they have a new life. They're framed and featured in somebody's garage in 2024, right? Who would have thought? It's like Star Trek stuff. It's getting scary what year it is. My God. Anyway, camels, trapeze artists. Let's take a look at this ad. It mentioned the gal's name, the broad's name, as we would say in 1945. This would, of course, be Ernestine Clark. I mean, of course it is. Anybody know Ernestine Clark? CJ could do a quick Google search for us, give us the whole history. Madison Square Garden, that's something. And Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. Ding, 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 ding. So this is going to be a valuable ad. But as you see, got a little stuff going on here, right? Not a perfect, pristine ad, but it's not ripped or anything. And there's the mailing label. Oh, sorry. Let me get back. I jumped ahead. There's the mailing label I was telling you guys about. It's kind of like a Xerox. See that? The purple. Barberton, Ohio. Any fans of Barberton, Ohio or dwellers? Aerialist of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. So needless to say, you got a lot going on here. And what better way to get in shape when you're going to do aerial feats like this than, sucking down on a Camel cigarette? But seriously, folks. So we're going to put in Ernestine. We're definitely going to put in Ringling Brothers because I think that's going to trump Ernestine. I'm going to put BROS in the interest of trying to get her name in too. Ernestine Clark. Am I going to fit her? No, I'm not. Son of a... I'm going to get rid of artist. Ringling Brothers Circus. Ernestine. There's a name you don't hear many. Ernestine! A name has kind of fallen out of fashion a little bit. Oh, it's with an E. That's why I'm getting a spell check. Ernestine. That's a cool ad, though. Would you guys agree? Let's take a quick look again. So you got the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. If I put Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, that would be basically the whole title. So we're going to have to just go Ringling Brothers and hope that people are searching on that first. They're not going to search Bailey Circus. But, Quite a little outfit on the broad over there. This looks like a Batman comic or something. But that's a nice looking ad, I think. Devil, says Roger. Yeah, Devil would probably be good. She's got the devil in her heart. But again, there's only so many 80 as a matter of fact, 80 characters. And I can only fit Debbie, so we're not going to be able to do that. But good suggestion. I agree. I love that ad too. That's a really cool ad. I'll let you know when that. In fact, we'll do a little video when that's, because that'll sell. That is a unique advertisement, if ever there was one. Back cover. Oh, I'll modify it after the show. I'm gonna just put basically what I'm gonna do, just so you know, I have this canned description, which I'll show you now in the next one. I'm just gonna alter this a little bit and say, not on this one, but the one we just did. Perfect for framing, light, age showing. I'll add something like back cover of magazine, contains minor scuffs, something like that. And I'll make some reference to the address thing being present. I do. Dame is also interchangeable. You got that Dame. When you're in the zone, you're doing 40s edge, you got to talk with the 40s vernacular. I think it's only fair. Kind of sets a tone. All right. I thought that was a really cool ad, though. Yes, the Queen of Canada finds all non-Canadian accents funny. Do we have any more cigarette ads? We've got to have more cigarette ads. Come on. 1945? This magazine should be riddled with cigarette ads. But ironically, I think that might be the only one. Interesting. Wow, it's 8:45 already, folks. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there and continuing to pop in. I appreciate it. Hope you're having fun. Thank you very much. Happy Friday. Please, please, please leave a... Did I just see Greg make reference to an accent? Come on, buddy. You want to go hear an accent? Go check out Blue Feather Ephemera, y'all. Everybody has an accent, except Dawn. Dawn speaks the Queen's English. Here's a cool one. We might potentially bang out one of my favorite terms of all time in this ad, but let's put it's Borden's. And I think you're going to know the term I'm going to use. What term am I thinking of using here, folks? Baubles, blings, and needful things. What a lovely name. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming in. Otherwise known as Lisa? It's a lot easier to say Lisa if that's your name and if it's okay to call you by that. But if not, welcome, Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things. What a lovely name. Yeah. Go listen to Blue Feather Ephemera's accent. Those who live in glass houses, you know the rest. All right. Well, check this out, folks. We have... I thought it was Elsie the cow. No, you speak perfectly. Borden's Hemo is what we're going to put in there. But again, to me, the Borden's is secondary. What we have here is some anthropomorphic cows, I hope. Look at this guy. With the brushes. You got a swing drummer going. You got cows living La Vida Loca. Southern cornbread. Yeah, that's Tennessee. That's like hillbilly accent, which I'm a fan of. In fact, I love Tennessee. It's one of my favorite states in the Union. Find ourselves playing there a lot. It really is beautiful, beautiful. If anybody has not been to Tennessee, it warrants a drive or a flight. Beautiful country. Before Hemo, after Hemo, Elmer's Peppy. So this has to be Elsie the cow, right? And then you got all your units of vitamins. Drink your vitamins and like them. Each glass contains all the following. So basically it's a powdered vitamin drink, kind of like a, instant breakfast kind of thing. Milk chocolate flavored, of course, because who doesn't love chocolate? Me, I hate milk chocolate. I love dark chocolate, though. All right. So we're going to do the cutting up a rug here. What are some of the words you tell me, folks? What would you guys use to describe this ad? It's an instant meal. But let's get back to the cows that are like bopping around. A lot of subliminals. You don't say, Roger. What do you think of subliminal about this? Oh, is that right? You've been a subscriber? Great. Thanks. Rarely spill. I'm glad you opened up your mouth and welcome to the show. Great to have you. Yeah, this is a working show tonight for sure. We're an hour and 46 minutes, folks. No signs of stopping either. But thanks for popping in and saying hi. I appreciate it very much. Glad to see you, Lisa. I haven't been in many other chats. So is it okay if I call you Lisa? Is it Lissa or Lisa? Because I think I might have mentioned this previously. A great friend of mine has his wife. It was his girlfriend at the time years ago when we were hanging out and playing in his basement, playing music. Share the name and she pronounced it Lissa. Incognito. Yeah, it's probably a good thing. I agree. All right. I'm doing it. I'll never spell this correctly, but I'm going to keep trying. What am I spelling wrong? Anthropomorphic. We're going to use that term. Anytime I get to use that term, I talked about this. I had one yesterday, as a matter of fact, on the quick little hour show that was yesterday's 1 to 2 p.m. extravaganza. I used it. I had an anthropomorphic ad yesterday too. Doesn't always happen with the ads. It's pretty cool to have back-to-back days. Drums I'm going to put because I like drums. Vitamins. Dance. There you go. Since nobody's giving me any answers, this is what I'm going with. Feel free to copy them. And you know what's funny? I did all this work and look what category we're still in. We got to take care of that. So what I do is I cut all this out. Ooh, somewhere along the line, I got rid of print ad. That's not cool. I have to fix that too. A lot of post-production edits will be done tonight. But anyway, we're going to do Borden's. I take that out, get it into the category we want, dairy, and then I paste it back in because sometimes if you have like 80 characters, eBay is not able to properly put it in the a category. So I just take it out and then put it back in. There we go. I forgot to change it. Foolish. Sitting here yapping. And let's go to beverage. Boom. Yeah, I really do love to use it. I mean, when it's not always applicable, but when it is, I get a kick out of it. One day I've only written it about 1,000 times. I still can't spell it. One day I will though. Print ad. We'll price this. We'll go down a little bit. It's still cool. Still groovy ad. If you ask me. All right. So that's that one. Lissa like Melissa. Alyssa. Very cool. Yep. Great to have you, Alyssa. Thanks for popping in. Yeah. His wife's name is Lissa. It was the first time I had heard that name at the time. See, in all these years, she thought she was original, and here comes Lissa, baubles, blings, and evil things. Shattering the myth that she was the only Lissa on the planet. No, just kidding. It's a beautiful name. All right. So there's the cow ad is done. What else we got? Since we're in the world of beverages, we got a Seagram's. This Seagram's ad is another good one. Good one. Seagram's irrelevant. Seagram's unto itself cool. But what is shown in the Seagram's ad, it makes it super unique, super, I think, valuable. I know Popeye has talked about this when it comes to postcards, but we're going to deal. In fact, let's get right to it. We'll go Seagram's, right? Canadian whiskey, isn't it, Dawn? Seagram's has its own distillery category. Pretty cool. So we'll change that. Wait till you guys say this is pretty cool. I think it's a very, very cool. What we have talked about in this ad is, drum roll, please. Yeah, it's Canadian. what we have in this ad is 1945, 7 years after Ode to Humanity. 8 years after Ode to Humanity. Look at this. It's a blimp ad, folks. How cool is this? A blimp flying over the Grand Canyon. Luxurious air cruises of the future. Men who plan beyond tomorrow. Boy, didn't this catch off? This really took off, didn't it? What a beautiful idea, though. Being able to hang out with your Seagrams, flying over the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? First class treatment. Conducting business. Staterooms. Full-size bed, bath, and shower. This, folks, is a very cool, a very unique advertisement. We are lauding blimp travel. There's so many different words for blimps. Zeppelin, which is really proprietary. It's like saying Q-tip for a cotton swab, but a Zeppelin, a blimp, an airship, they're all sort of interchangeable. So what I would do in this case is I might even put them all in there or a fraction of all of them, but I think that is a beautiful ad. Take a look again. Dirigible, very good, Aretha Franklin, absolutely. I can't stop laughing at urethra, but dirigible, absolutely. I'm fond of that too. Now, in a perfect world, show me an anthropomorphic dirigible. Yep, absolutely. Blimp, Zeppelin. So cool. But look at this, you know, I guess it literally never took off, really, right? I mean, other than the Goodyear blimp at a Super Bowl, there's really not, you don't see many blimps anymore. And certainly nobody traveling. How you getting to, I'm going to go down to Tennessee. Well, how you getting there? Blimp. You know, you don't see it. Blimp should be a thing. I say we bring back the blimp. All right, so they had one black eye with the old Hindenburg. Other than that, it's a great way to fly. I mean, you take a shower. Look at this. Play a deck of cards going. You got a full library. You got Seagrams being served. You got steaks. Look at the view. Look at the windows. You kidding me? How are we not? That's a swell way to fly. How are we not taking off in blimps? All right, it might take 10 years to go across the country, but so what? Yep, that's all you need to know. There's your blimp history in 3 words. Correct. Goodyear, Hindenburg, and Led Zeppelin. Yep. And the phrase, "Oh, the humanity," which you can now go to YouTube and actually watch the live footage of it being destroyed. Oh, the humanity. Not making light of it. It was a devastating event, but. So we're going to go blimp. Looking for spell check for dirigible. I don't think I've ever written that word in my life. So I'm going to go, oh, look at that. Zeppelin. Airship. Come on. Boom. Got them all. I think that's an outrageously cool ad, and it's going to be priced as such. So there's all those questions. How do you price? I price what I feel like pricing. And I let the market dictate. And if somebody makes me an offer for $19.99, I'll take it in a heartbeat. Cost me 2 cents maybe for this sheet of paper. But I do think, in fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I've never had a blimp ad listed before, but now I have. And guess what? Next time another blimp ad comes into my world, I'm going to bang out the term dirigible. Because how often do you get to use dirigible on a daily basis, right? Anytime you get a chance to write the word dirigible, you got to do it. All right. I love that ad. I was looking forward to that all night to talk about that one. Hope it was worth the wait, folks. This is another cool one. Western Electric. But again, don't let the product necessarily fool you. What's cool about this one, when we blow it up, you'll see. But basically, we're talking about an aircraft carrier. I don't even remember what the product is. I know is it telephone? We'll see. Western Electric's a telephone company. Look at that. You helped him save lives. So again, we're talking a month after the end of World War II, and you could talk about Western Electric in peace, source of supply for the Bell system, in war, arsenal of communications. But what's cool about this, and there's a artist, which sometimes we look up, Paul Rabbit. Rabbit season. Sometimes we'll take a minute and look up Mr. Rabbit and see if he's a reputable artist. And if so, oh, I just realized his name is being blocked out by my mug. But trust me, his name is Paul Rabbit. I'll raise that so you guys can see it. Oh, you do see it. Okay. But this is pretty cool. That's like the signaling paddles for an aircraft carrier. Look at that. Is Popeye still here? He's a Navy guy. Every branch of the armed services uses the telephone number 17 of a series. Naval aviation. Duck season, exactly, Enzo. Somebody's out there listening. I hate you. I love Daffy Duck. One of the best episodes ever, actually. So we have a whole series, number 17, in a series of naval aviation, stumbling on my words with my excitement here. But that is just a cool, unique ad. Who cares that it's for a telephone company? That's secondary, right? It's this image and the uniqueness of it and the coolness of it that would sell this thing, in my view anyway. So we're all going to put, for the purposes of getting it into a proper category, I'm going to put telephone because that is what the company is, and we'll get that into a telephone category right now. Boom, telephone. As you guys argue about the fun of how to spell whiskey, because that's important. Telephone. Okay. Western Electric. There we go. That's all done. Paddles. An artist name. Yeah, that's a very legible artist name for once, right? But I guess we got to use aircraft carrier signal paddles. That's pretty much it. That's 77 out of 80, but a very nice, unique looking ad. Popeye's got flight deck landing something. I'm sorry, that heart blocks it out. Landing signals, officer LSO. What does LSO mean? Oh, landing signal officer LSO. Gotcha. Sorry. Flight deck. You think that trumps aircraft carrier? Man, I have a love-hate relationship with working. So they have electrical stuff in the hostess listing. It is cool stuff, and thank you for agreeing. That's a great question. Any Jiminy Dust flowing out there? Anybody have a sale during the 2 hours now that we've been on the air? I hope so. If you have, please tell us all about it. I'd love to hear that. Seriously. Yes, Jiminy Dust is often distributed to those who give thumbs up to the said videos. We always have that, unwritten promise that a sale will be made. As long as you believe it in your heart when you leave that thumbs up. It can't be a half-assed one. It has to be like from your soul. Not yet, Blue. Okay, cool. Aircraft carrier, most important. I thought so too. Like you can't get around Western Electric Telephone. It sucks up a lot of space, but that is the product, if you will. Yeah, I think that's a pretty really cool ad, actually. Boom. So we have a couple of high value. That's right. Speaking of whole asses. Okay. Do a couple more because we're at the 2 hour mark, and at some point I'm going to have family members sending out search teams for me. Just now when you said that the sale came in a Charles Johnson and the Revere's, get out of here! Really, you just sold one. Congratulations, man! It's great to hear. $15 cassette. That's good money for a cassette. New, used, indifferent. Alrighty. We'll do like one or two more. We'll call it a night for the show anyway. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming in. This is a nice one too. International Harvester. They make like, try to spell this correctly. They make farming equipment, stuff like that, kind of like the equivalent of a John Deere. I've listed several of these ads before, and they're always very nice. Look at the illustration is really well done. International Harvester. I'm curious to see what category they put that in. See, agriculture but I'm not going to put, as tempting as it is, I'm not going to put it in this. Oh, yes, I am. It's advertising. Strike that. Right into the International Harvester advertising. I was going to say sometimes there's collectibles and then it'll be like the cigarettes. There's a collectibles cigarettes section, but it's not for advertising. This one is actually for advertising. So shame on me for not knowing that. And now we all benefit from that knowledge. So if you happen to have any International Harvester, yep, agricultural machines, absolutely. But they built, again, during World War II. No, it's not airplanes, you silly goose. They manufactured, war effort kind of stuff too. And I'm curious to see. I don't remember the details. I just saw the image and I knew it was beautiful. And I like International Harvester stuff. All their ads are really nicely done. But anyway, let's take a look and see what they're talking about, if it's still war related or not. I don't remember. I just scanned it and said I would look at it once we all had a chance to look at it. So it says, now that's a tree, folks. My goodness. It's more like lumberjack kind of stuff. Buy war bonds and hold them. Okay, so we still have a war reference. There will be peacetime jobs by the thousands. So we're talking about the new peacetime. We're talking about the different types, wheel tractors, power units, crawlers, whatever that was. Highways, airports, bridges, dams, housing, farming. Peacetime jobs. Timber, that's a great word. Testimony from the tall timber. The bigger they are, the harder they haul. How cool is that? Ren is listening, dinner break, learning a lot. The Navy aviation was cool. Congrats on the sail. Oh, thanks so much, Ren. Yeah, enjoy your meal. I'm glad you just kind of have it playing in the background. I like to do that too. One of the reasons I started doing these live things was like I got a lot of satisfaction from watching other people do stuff like this while I was listening. It kind of encourages the mood a little bit. So I'm glad to see that you're enjoying it. Thank you very much. Give liberally to Community War Fund. It's power for victory, power for peace. So there's so much going on this one. I could make 5 different titles. I'm sure you guys could too. That's a handsome looking machine, isn't it? That's just a good looking machine. Look at the size of that piece of timber too. All right, so where do we go? What do we do with this? We got to go timber, right? Timber woods. Give me some words, folks. What would you guys write? There's a lot going on here. Peacetime jobs, maybe. Yes, soothing ocean sound. I mean, come on, that's one of my favorite. Then my new passion, Mrs. Slippin and I, when we're trying to lay down and rest our minds and go to sleep, after some nice conversation and cuddling and whatnot, we will often fire up, courtesy of an Alexa that we have in our room as well. We'll say, Alexa, play brown noise. For those who don't know, it's basically the sound of like being in an airplane. Wonderful thing to fall asleep to. Very soothing, very calming. So that's my new passion is we play brown noise before bed every night. International Harvester sells well. I agree, Roger. Absolutely. Lissa, yeah, I live alone. I need listing lives as body doubling, so I appreciate the time. No problem at all. Great to have you. When men were men, says round one. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Moving mountains. Power for victory, power for peace. I'm going to put, again, there's a lot to go with, but peacetime jobs, was that what it said? Something like that. Peacetime America. I mean, there's just so many cool a tractor, a bulldozer. Yeah. Bulldozer is a good one. Peacetime jobs. Look at that. 80 on the schnozola. But yes, International Harvester stuff does sell well. Oh, there's another field, so we'll fill that out. 45. Fill out all fields. I don't have any. I know when, a couple years ago when eBay presented us with all these specifics, they wanted everything, and people were flipping out and trying to change and tweak all their listings, and it would tell you they have 5,000 specifics that aren't filled out. At first, I poo-pooed it like a lot of other people, like, forget that. I'm not going to go back and change all this stuff. Now, especially when it comes to ads, I have no problem filling out this handful. I think if you see, they're all optional because the required are almost non-existent. It's put it in a category and name. Same thing with postcards, right? They're basically non-existent. You don't have to put in anything. But I choose to. I think it helps. I really do think now a lot of that stuff has been ironed out, and it helps the search You know, it helps people that are looking for an cool international harvester ad like this one find it. So I don't mind filling out those couple. It goes really quickly, and you've probably seen from watching the show tonight, a lot of the stuff copies over from item to item. You just make a couple of changes. So it's time well spent, in my view. But that is a groovy ad. So it will be priced at $214. No, I'm kidding. All right, we'll do one more, and we will call it an evening. For those on the West Coast, you're just eating dinner. For those on the East Coast like me, it's almost bedtime. And you guys in the middle, it's somewhere in between. But genuinely, and from my heart, I really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, especially on a Friday. It's always wonderful to know that people want to spend a little time and hang out like that. I really appreciate it. One more. What should we do? I thought that was Shirley Temple, but it's not, much to my chagrin. Shirley Temple sells, if you didn't know that. As we peruse the remaining choices. Too much of a chatterbox in green mod chat. What? Let's just go color. I got to admit it, even though I tell the question earlier was posed, does the size of your ad matter? And I say no, and I mean that. Same thing I've been asked 100 times: does it matter if it's color or black and white? The answer is no. However, I got to admit, when I'm looking at a field of ads like that, my eyes are drawn to the color, the vivid colors, even if I don't know what it is. So with that said, we've pulled this ad up. So let's see what it is. Towels, Canon towels. Again, not something you see every day, right? Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate it. Very, very much. All right, Canon towels. Try to find a home for this. Household ads. I like that. That's a household ad. That's a household item if ever there was one, right? A towel. I have a category called household ads. Throw it right in there. Household items. Boom. Canon. Anybody remember the TV show Canon? I remember that. I bet you Popeye remembers that. Canon. What's his name? The bald guy that did used to do the Thanksgiving Day parade. What's his name? Oh my God, the star of Canon, folks. What's his name? Richard Conrad. One of those silly, like McCloud, like Rockford Files, the private eye kind of shows. Canon. William Conrad. What did I say? Richard Conrad? William Conrad. Yes, thank you. Had a very deep voice. I'm sure he's very dead at this point. I don't know that for a fact, but I'd be willing to bet if William Conrad's a former person. Shower flowers. Sometimes these things write themselves. That's the kind of phrase you just want to. If you can write shower flowers in your title, you do it. Shower flowers. That underbite, yeah. Remember McCloud? I used to like McCloud. They used to have was it the Mystery Night? ABC Mystery Night, something like that. McCloud, McMillan and Wife, Rockford Files. I love Rockford. I think everybody liked Rockford Files. The song was so cool. The Trans Am. Beretta. I used to love Beretta. All those silly shows. Barnaby Jones. Barnaby Jones wasn't a big fan. It's okay. Dawn Wright, what do we see here? What's that chair called when you have the bow and like the little the curtain kind of thing? It's not a curtain. What do you call that? Like at the base of a bed. I forgot what you call that. Let's pull up the full ad. When at all possible, I try to look around and look for things that people might search for, like a style of furnishing or a style of clothing for sure. We try to introduce that if at all. What is that called? A skirt. Yeah, exactly. Like a bed skirt. You think that's something worth mentioning? Is that like a style? It looks like a very familiar chair, but I don't know what the name would be. Pink towels too. You ladies, tell me you guys wouldn't love to take a shower in a room like this, or come out of your shower and walk into a room like this. That's kind of nice. Mrs. Flippett would love this stuff. If I came home with these towels tonight, she'd be thrilled. If she had this chair to sit in tonight, she'd be thrilled. And a marble table with a thing of flowers, she'd be thrilled. The bow, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Big pink bow. How about just pink? The word pink, for whatever reason, is highly searched. Pink Cadillac, little pink houses, Pink Floyd, pink bow, chair. But like, what would you call? It's a bathroom, but it's not really a bathroom. Is there another room that would be an offshoot of a bathroom where one might keep their towels like that and sit down and powder their faces and whatnot? There's got to be another word. Powder, maybe even the term powder room. I think there's a word that's like an offshoot of a bathroom, but I can't think of it. That's why I'm on the show with you guys. Victoria's Secret pink, absolutely. No, but seriously, look up pink is a very potent keyword. So if you could use pink in your title, you got to do it. Just make sure powder room. Yeah, that's what I just said, Dawn. You think powder room is cool? I'll go with that. Because this isn't a bathroom. You know what I mean? It's not a toilet. It's a very posh looking little offshoot of a bathroom where you would come out with your towel like that and then sit down and do your face and all that stuff, Powder room. Yeah, I like powder room. A suite. Actually, that's a great suggestion. What's up, Mike? Thank you for that. Boudoir. Sure. Bathroom suite. Yeah, good one, man. Got it in there. You made it right at the last ad. He came in, made an impact. Boom, sweet. I like that. It's a nice looking ad, wouldn't you say? Boudoir. I think that's going to be, that's for the win. Cannon towels, shower flowers. Shower flowers is tremendous. It's like Tower Power, shower flowers. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's get rid of that one. I think we had a couple of very nice looking ads tonight. Which is always a good thing. Not that listing Campbell's soup, Campbell's chicken noodle soup isn't exciting, but the crap, yeah. The boudoir. Who said that? That was funny. All right, let's put up all the high-tech banners again. Well, that was fun, guys. Thank you very much for checking it out tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, please, if you're not to constantly mention this, but if you have a chance to leave a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. And if anybody's watching tonight or has watched that is not yet a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that more than the thumbs up, as a matter of fact, just because I'd like to have more people to speak to and talk about stuff that we all like together and have little get-togethers like this one tonight. It's Friday. If all goes according to plan, Monday should be a non-event, and I should be able to come back on Monday. Maybe we'll do a little more listing. We might even do more from this magazine. It makes it easier if I can have. We probably have like another 10 or so left that I haven't listed. Maybe I'll just keep them in this folder and then have it reserved for the next show. It makes it a lot easier for the prep work and all that stuff. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks, Rick, for watching. Now I can pull the comments up. Here we go. The pink tax. Hold on. I like this. But the items are commonly masculine and neutral colors. You get buku more money if they are pink. It is absolutely a real phrase. Seriously, I know. It's a searched, a highly searched keyword for sure. So I agree with that. Just by virtue of having the word pink in, you'd be surprised. You're going to get more eyes than if you don't have it on there. That's a fact. Good glory. Good golly, Miss Molly. Thank you, Ren. Thanks, man. Thank you, Outlaw Films. You have a great weekend, too. Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it. In all seriousness, the jokes about the hillbilly accent aside, you got to check out Blue Feather FM. You got to check out Popeye, Postcard People, and the like. Got to check out Popeye's postcards on YouTube. If you're not yet subscribed, you got to check him out. Dawn, thank you as always. CJ, thank you for the links and all the help tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you on Monday. We'll continue where we left off tonight. Okay. Have a great weekend and stay safe, everybody. Stay safe, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.